Hitches and Voices. My name is Kingsley Okoje, your usual anchor on the program. And as usual, my sign language interpreter for today is Cynthia Godwin. Let me, before I go into the nitty-gritty of today's program, let me start by apologizing to our ardent followers and viewers on television that for quite some time, 2 editions now, we've not been able to come on air. But thank God we are back now to do what we know how to do best, which is, of course, talking about disability, creating awareness on issues concerning persons with disability, not just in Edo State, but in Nigeria at large. And today would not be different as we focus our attention to NABVID. NABVID, of course, is the sponsor of this program, Hitches and Voices. And NABVID is Network for the Advancement of People with Visible Disability, a non-governmental organization based here in Benin City, Nigeria, that is advancing the rights of persons with disability. NABVID has embarked on a very noble project, and our guest for today, who's to talk about this, is indeed a noble man. He's the program officer for NABVID, and he'll be taking us through what NABVID is trying to do to support the Edo State Disability Commission. I'm talking about Mr. Isaac Noble. Welcome to Hitches and Voices.
Thank you, Kingsley. I'm grateful.
All right. Like it is with NABVID, one of our core mandates, like I said in my introduction, is to advance the rights of persons with disability. And for quite some time, NABVID participated in several activities, calling on the Edo State government to do the needful by passing a law for persons with disability. That was done, and NABVID was not satisfied. Together with other sister organizations, we pushed for the Edo State government to set up a commission for persons with disability that would drive the implementation of the law. And kudos to the current governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpebholo. He set up the commission to implement the provisions of the law. But the commission is in place now, but I'm sure NABVID is still not satisfied. NABVID has started a project to support the Edo State Disability Commission. And I want my guest in the studio today, Mr. Noble Navid, who is the program officer for NABVID, to take us through this project.
All right, thank you so much, Kingsley. I want to especially greet our viewers at home. Compliments of the season to everyone. Yes, NABVID currently is implementing the project, capacity building for justice providers in handling vulnerable groups project. It's a project that is with the support of the Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption Program, ROLAC, implemented by International ID and supported or funded by the European Union. It's a very short project, just about 2 months, but one of the aims that we have for this project or goal is to achieve the strengthening of justice sector providers, particularly mechanisms, justice mechanisms in the states to be more inclusive and provide more accessibility for persons with disabilities in accessing justice in Edo State. But particularly at the tail end, when we did that proposal, the commission was not yet on board. So as soon as the commission came on board, we saw a need to retwork the proposal, and thankfully, ROLAC gave us that open door to rework it. And one of the things we want to achieve, which is very critical for us right now, is the strengthening of the newly established Edo State Commission for Persons with Disabilities. So part of the things we're going to be doing in this project within these next 2 months is to strengthen, we call it institutional strengthening. Yes, institutional strengthening of this commission, of the members, and of course the officials, and to ensure that this commission is able to receive the needed support to carry out its function as a commission that is representing persons with disabilities in the Edo State government. And I would want to say that so far we've been able to achieve some level of results already, though the project just began December 1st. But so far, one of the key provisions that we saw in the law, the Edo State Disability Rights Law of 2022, is that the commission is to function with the support of what we call ex-officials. That is, each of the relevant MDAs or necessary MDAs that's to work with the commission are supposed to designate a senior staff member to serve as an ex-official in the board of the commission. And so when this project came on board, we needed to do a training or a workshop where these ex-officials will be on ground. And so what we did was that we began to mobilize. We wrote to the HOS, and then right now we have these ex-officials are currently mobilized to the commission. That is a plus for us because before now, that was not there. All right, so but through this project, we're able to mobilize, and this commission right now has expanded its board to include these ex-official members. And just last week here, we had the first 2 days workshop training to train the commission and, of course, these ex-official members on what is required of them to function and to push the commission as a regulatory body to truly achieve its objectives for which it was set up for.
You just said something that's very striking. You mentioned the objective of the commission. How significant is this training? How will this training help members of the commission to effectively achieve the implementation of their mandate?
Thank you. You see, the commission, like I stated, is a newly set up commission, so they are still at the very base level, all right? And giving them the needed support right now is all that is required, okay, to function effectively. Yes, the government has done their part by establishing a commission, but if you notice, during the just concluded International Day for Persons with Disabilities, on the 5th, we organized, in collaboration with the Commission and JONAPID, NAVID organized the 14th Rights Above Charity Lecture. And the theme for this, for the lecture was from establishment to effectiveness, making inclusion the heartbeat of governance in Edo State. So that signifies that we know that government has played its role by establishing the commission. Right now, what we are looking at is to see how this commission can be effective. So the training we did last week was a 2 days workshop to train. We got the consultant to train the commission and, of course, the ex-official members on the statutory role as a commission. And one of the outcome or output from this 2 days workshop is the development of the operational manual for the commission. You know, for example, these are baby steps we are taking, especially as a commission, the commission level. So we are helping them take that step, like we're like providing a guide, all right? So one of the outputs is that we've been able to achieve the operational manual, which is being fine-tuned currently as we speak. All right, and also I want to also let you know that just the previous week before the December 5th, December 3rd program, we were able to even achieve the simplification of the Edo Disability Rights Law of 2022. It's still under this output from this same very project, where the law is being simplified so that the common man can access the provisions of that law without needing a learned colleague to decipher the content of the law. Yes. So that is part of the things we are trying to achieve. And one of the things you will see that at the end of this 2 days capacity training that we did, there was increase in knowledge, all right, on the part of the commission on their statutory role, and also what is expected of them as per the public, and at the same time too, the part that is very important for them is to understand their regulatory function, all right, as a commission. And one of the things that will help them guide their operations was the operational manual, which, like I said, was developed in that workshop. So you see that it's a whole robust program that at the end, in the next 1 year, 2 years, you will not believe how much we would have achieved by this foundation that is being laid.
You talked about an operational manual, which is one of the key documents or one of the fallouts from the 2 days capacity training. I also know that you are working towards developing another document, which is a strategic work plan for the commission, but we'll talk more about that. We'll go on a quick break now. Don't forget the program is Hitches and Voices, coming to you courtesy of Network for the Advancement of People with Visible Disability, NAVID, a non-governmental organization here in Nigeria. We'll go on a quick break now. We'll come back. We'll continue our conversation with our guest, Noble NAVID, a program officer with NAVID. We'll be back. Back from that very short break. If you're just joining us, the program is Hitches and Voices. Don't forget, our conversation has been with Mr. Israel Noble Isaac, a program officer with NABID, and he's been having conversations with us about NABID's intervention or NABID's support for the Edo State Disability Commission to strengthen the commission, to enable the commission fulfill its core mandate. And before we went on break, he was talking about helping the commission develop a operational a document that will help them function very well. Like I said before we went on the break, you talked about a strategic plan. Why do you want to help the commission develop a strategic plan?
All right, thank you. Thankfully, we have a government that's very supportive of the commission since its establishment. And one of the things that we also say is the outcome, an outcome for the commission since inception is that for the first time they were able to defend their budget, and for 2026 fiscal year they will be operating with a budget. All right. So we, as a development partner, NABFID, we see the need that it is important that they don't just implement programs or projects, but they have a policy drive. All right. So that's why we, with support from the ROLAC program, we are able to, that will be in January 2026, we'll be having a 3-day strategic planning workshop with the commission members and of course the ex-officials who have just been inaugurated into the commission to develop a 3-year strategic plan and a work plan for 2026 based on the budgets that have been submitted already to the states for the commission, so that it will be like strategic plans are like roadmaps. They show you direction. They direct you on projects and programs that you do. Is a policy direction. All right. So the strategic plan we are looking at is that it's going to be for 2026 through to 2028, which of course also in addition, like a cherry on the cake, will also be including the 1-year work plan, which is for 2026 for the commission. So that at a glance, even if they are going to be desiring partners to join them to push through with the strategic plan, it will be easier to bring partners on board, to be easier to bring,
all right.
Yes.
I don't want us to be too academic with this program so that an average listener can follow properly. But the essence of all of this is to ensure that the commission functions optimally and deliver on its core mandate, which is to provide for the welfare and to protect the rights of persons with disability. I believe that's the essence of all of this activity. But let's go back to the ex-official you talk about. I believe these are members of various MDAs who will be working with the commission to achieve its mandate. And I like the fact that you are carrying various members of each ministry along. But I just want you to speak to the specific. Why is it important for these ex-officials to be part of the commission, to understand what the commission is doing so that they can implement it at their various ministry? How important is this?
All right, you just answered it.
I want you to expand on it.
You just answered it because their involvement play a great role. One, at the beginning stage, when you are part of those laying the foundation, you will be able to contribute meaningfully to the raising of the edifice. All right. So in this case, the ex-official coming on board right now at this ground level is very critical. They understand where the commission is and where the commission is going. And so, as representatives of these various ministries are on board, for example, Ministry of Justice, one of their rep was available throughout the 2 days workshop. When he goes back to the Ministry of Justice, his role, his responsibility is to ensure that all the programs the Ministry of Justice will be carrying out, henceforth, should be inclusive. It should have a disability component, because disability is a cross-sectorial or multi-sectorial issue. All right, and therefore, talking about access to justice, for example, talking about accessing the maybe family courts or whatsoever, he understands the concept, because the truth is that you can't advocate for what you don't understand. So if they are on board, they understand the concept, they understand the idea from which persons with disabilities are speaking from. And so when they are at the implementation or policy level in their various ministry, they can make meaningful contributions. So, okay, I'm representing this group in this capacity, and I can speak for them in this level. So can we make this program more inclusive? And how do we do it? You will now see them bringing ideas. Okay, we can do it this way because they already have ideas. They've been trained on how inclusive programs should look like.
Oh, beautiful. So for example, maybe someone, an ex-official in the commission who is a staff of the Ministry of Information, for example, if there's a policy to carry out a campaign or an awareness creation, he's going to speak for the disability community to say, look, we must make this campaign more inclusive.
Thank you.
Because sometimes we see campaigns on television, on radio, and they are not inclusive enough. They don't carry the deaf community along. You do jingles, there are no sign language interpreters to help the deaf community understand what you're talking about. If there's an epidemic now, how is the deaf community going to be aware? So such ex-official will help break down, unbundle these policies and ensure that they are more inclusive, they are more disability friendly. That's a good one. Let's look at you say it's a 2 months program.
Yes.
So at the end of these 2 months, what does NABIG hope to achieve with this project?
Thank you. I will just run through the line of project activities that we've planned out, so that when I speak to the results, it will be clearer. Especially to our audience out there. One of the things we want to achieve primarily is to increase access to justice.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes. For example, strengthening the commission is in a way improving access to justice because persons with disabilities will have better representation, both at the government level and also at the monitoring level, where you talk about regulatory, functions. All right. Also, we want to see that the current law, Disability Rights Law 2022 of Edo State, is simplified. Like I mentioned, we are simplifying that law. We've done the validation session just earlier this month, the 3rd or 2nd, I think 2nd of December. And part of that, what we did was to validate the simplified version of the disability law. And after we are done with the, final editing, we'll be producing even braille versions and other large print versions so that it will be available for, the various clusters to access. That's one of the things we want to
members of the public in general.
Yes, of course. Even the digital copy will also be made available for anyone to access it in a simplified language. All right. And secondly, we are looking at conducting a research. All right, on inclusivity of the Edo State Civil Service. All right, because we believe that the current state of the Edo State Civil Service on inclusion, all right, there's no data backing. Though we know that the government have tried, the government have tried by employing, persons with disabilities. Just recently, after the 14 at Above charity lecture, you could see that the governor gave direct appointments to one Barrister Kindness Idahosa into the Ministry of Justice. That is applaudable, all right? And we through this project want to strengthen inclusion in the Edo State Civil Service. And one of the ways we want to do this is through data research, where we can say, okay, this is where we are. All right, this is how far, this is what is commendable from what the Edo State government has done, and also make recommendations. How can they improve? Because it's not enough to employ, it's not enough to bring persons with abilities into this space to work, but are there reasonable accommodations? All right, are there accessible buildings? These are things that we are looking at in this research, and it's going to be, we will make the findings public so that the members of the public can also have access and also even use it to make decisions, informed decisions moving forward. Then thirdly, we are looking at also this strengthening of the commission. We've talked about it already, the professional manual, and of course the strategic plan for 3 years that will cover the commission's operation and that will strengthen their operations as a commission. Then also we are looking at a case where we're also going to be creating awareness. For example, this program we're having now is an awareness creation program. Of course. So we are creating awareness not just on the project itself, but also on disability issues, how front burner issues are perceived, all right, by the general public, and how they can better position themselves, in responding. You need to respond right when it comes to disability issues, all right, because that's why we are creating that awareness to ensure that there is deeper understanding. So part of the result we want to see at the end of this project is that there is increase in our awareness, one on disability law and of course on disability related issues when it comes to access to justice. And also, let me also skip this also. One of the critical components we also see in here is that there's an intersection of disability and sexual and gender-based violence. Yes, there's an intercession, because most of the times, most of these vulnerable persons are persons with disabilities, but they don't speak because they don't have a channel through which they can speak. So part of this we're going to be doing in this project also is that in next year, January, we're going to be training SAC workers. All right, it's part of this project. We're going to be training SAC workers in Edo State on inclusive practices in handling sexual and gender-based related issues. Yes. We're going to be doing that, and part of the result one will see is that we'll have more inclusive practices. For example, earlier this year we did a research. When we were doing some of our findings, we find that at the state level in the SAC center, they don't have a database disaggregated by disability. So they agreed to us.
To take count of persons who have been violated.
Thank you. They agreed to us that persons with disabilities have been violated. They've come to report, but in their database they don't have that, because in their case form, disaggregated by data. So that's part of the reason why we are doing this training also, to strengthen that provision.
All right, we'll continue this conversation. It's quite an intense one, and it's obvious that the program officer for NAVID, Mr. Isaac Noble Israel, has a lot to say concerning this subject. We'll bring him on again to expand more on this conversation, but unfortunately, we've run out of time to continue the conversation today. Like I said, we'll stay on this topic and expand on it. It's a wrap for the program today on Hitches and Voices. I'd like to thank you for following us on the program, and for our listeners on radio, thank you for taking our time to also listen to the program today. We'll do this again next week. Till then, my name is Kingsley Okoje, saying spot the hitch and be a voice.
Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year from Independent Television and Radio.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about
what I said. So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them up or dragging on both sides, you cannot you cannot breathe.
Oh, wow.
And these women would stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
Welcome to the program Youth Perspective on Independent Television. I am your host, Joy Obaisiamo. And as you know, on this special program, we look at societal matters from the youth perspective. And today is no different. Today we will be looking at, business as a young adult, going into business, navigating the business world and, having to achieve success. I will be having this conversation today with my guest, Ambassador Terry Osemigye. He is the MD CEO of Unbeatable Motors and also the vision bearer of Edo Car Auction. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Joy. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
All right.
All right, let's quickly get into the conversation. Let me know about my viewers. Let's get into that particular, let's just hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
What are those traits do you think that, young adults should have before they get into business? Some persons will say that this person is born to be a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something like that?
Thank you so much for that. Actually, to start up a business as a young man, as a youth, it actually do not require so much. Yes, it don't require so much. First of all, you need to identify the kind of business that you want to do. You need to know exactly what you want to do. And then you also need to have passion for the kind of business that you think you also want to do. When you have all these things, I think you don't need too much, because these are the things that will drive you to be able to, do this kind of business or do whatever kind of business that you want. Another thing is that as a youth, you can start very small. You don't have to start big, all right? But some of the youths today are actually looking for a way to start so big. And that's the reason why you see that so many youth are not actually, finding themselves in business. Again, there are some certain business that you can start without, like with little or nothing. All right. But those business can look like, a business that some youth do not want to identify themselves with, because some of them see themselves as graduates. They see themselves as people who have more knowledge, who have gone far and wide, and for that reason, they want to start so big. But if you look inward, there are some business that you can actually start with small, and you begin to, follow it up from there, little by little, and you go from there. So, what you really need as a young man is not so much. Be determined, and then look for a business, and then start small. That's what I would advise any youth out there.
All right, you're a businessman yourself, MD of Unbeatable Motors. You're into automobiles.
Yes.
And so tell us, starting up, you didn't just start now, right?
Yeah.
What are those challenges that, personally from your end, what are those challenges that you faced, coming up right now?
All right. For me, it's something that I would like to really share. And that's why I'm so glad that you're asking me this question right now. I remember in 2009, when I decided to go into the car business, my challenge was capital. You will agree with me that to do car business, you can't start small. There's no way you can start small doing a car business. That's just the simple truth. So, but truly, when I started, I didn't have the cash, the capital to start. But what I did was that I got engaged with the business, and I started learning the business while I was trying to do other little business, like selling of clothes, selling of shoes to my friends, to my family. I started doing that, and that was how I was able to, generate some few amounts of money far back 2009. I think it's about 16 years now. I started like that, and before you know it, because the business after that time was the business that I really want to do, I actually look around and I said to myself, car business is the only business that I like. But then I didn't have the capital. So I kept on little by little in other businesses, and I started raising money, started gathering money till get a particular point. The thing is, while I was even in the car business, I didn't have money to buy, but because I was already in the business, I was already doing some form of marketing of cars. So I started, getting calls from family and friends. Yes, like they wanted to buy from me. They even want to ask me, okay, I saw you posting, can you advise? So that was how I started. And before you know it, these persons will actually want to buy from me. What I do is that I try to get from these people who own this vehicle at that time, and then I sell and then make my own little profit. So that was how I started little by little. And before you know it, I was able to raise some certain amount of money. I could remember very clearly the first money that I raised to actually bought a car to sell was about 380,000. That was in the year 2012. All right.
That's a long time.
Yes, I raised 380,000, and I was able to look for a particular car to buy, and that was my first car. All right, and even the 380,000 at that point, when I actually wanted to buy the first car, the car was like 420,000. All right, so what I did was that I have a boss of mine that I was working with then, of blessed memory, though he's late now. His name is Idaosa Jos Bazwaye, JBS Estate. I used to work with him under the entertainment sector then. And then I went to meet him and I told him, I said, sir, I'm into this business, and for the first time I've been able to raise some money and I want to buy a car to start selling. Let me just start with this. And he was like, oh, really? I said, yes. Okay, what do you have? How much do you have? I said, I have 380,000. I said, okay, how much is the vehicle? I said, 450,000. He said, okay, no problem. That was how he gave me the balance of that, Now, he told me one thing after some time. He said, the reason why I gave you that money is because over time, I have seen it in you that you are a business-minded person and you are serious with what you are doing, and that's why I gave you that money. So ever since then, I was able to grow that 450,000 into millions. I grew to a stage whereby I was able to open my own car shop. I was able to incorporate my own business. So this is how I started. So while I was also doing that, another thing that you must also look at is when you are trying to grow a business, you must try to move with the right set of people. You must have to follow good link, good network. You must have to, be able to go out to events and try to, identify with people, connect with people. And you also need to let people know this is what I'm doing. All right. And while you are doing that, you also have to look at the area of taking your business beyond just, staying there. You have to take it to the social media. In fact, I could tell you for free that in car business in Edo State, I am one of those who started marketing on social media. I can tell you that in Sapler Road as a whole, where I started my car business, I am one of those. And so many car dealers will tell you that when this issue of using WhatsApp to get to customers, get to your bring your co-dealers together and I started it. Until now, one of those group that I created has amounted to about 43 million people on Facebook.
That's quite a huge
success.
And so talk to us about those down moments that you have to now learn from. It's not all rosy.
True.
A lot of times.
True.
So talk to us about that, the failures where you have to stand up and be like, okay, I have to keep pushing.
Yeah.
Things like that. How was it for you, the journey?
Okay. Yes, every business has their ups and downs. When I was coming up, I used to have, some of these challenges like you not having in my own line of business, because every business have their own various challenges. Yeah. So my own business, my biggest challenge was that I didn't have enough capital to start it. At one point, at a given point. So I started small, and the bad thing about car business is if you have just a car, the car can remain there for almost a year. All right, because you have just a car.
It doesn't go bad.
Not like it doesn't go bad. The good part is that it does not go bad. Car business, when you buy your car, you leave it there. It can be there for another 2 years. If you want to sell, you can still make that profit that you want to make, even beyond the profit that you have planned to sell before.
Wow.
All right, but the bad thing is that if you do not have enough capital to be able to have at least 5 cars, that's when you are sure of selling at least once every month. When you have enough cars, you are sure of selling at least once every month. But if you have one car, you can be there for 6 months you've not sold, because perhaps that your car is not the car that people really want at that point. But if you have more of those vehicles, you can always sell. And so what it means is that, I wasn't making money more often, but the business is so lucrative. People make money here and there every now and then, but it depends on when you have enough capital. So it took me a very long time to be able to, kind of pass that stage. And I was able to pass that stage because I was well recognized in the business. I got involved, with so many people, politicians, entertainers, businessmen. And if I couldn't sell my car, as a friend, as a colleague, or as somebody who I've done business with before, you can decide to bring a car for me to sell. So before you knew it, I started getting people giving me, so much vehicle in my own care to sell. So before you know it, I'm having like 10 cars already. All right, because over time I've been able to, sell myself. And not just that, you have to be able to show people that, yeah, they can trust you with money, because dealing with car business is dealing with money. Exactly. And people can come and give you a car worth, 10 million and say, help me to sell. So it's like giving you 10 million naira cash to help sell. So people always look for that person that they can trust. That person who has that, fear of, of wanting to keep his or her name, to ensure that their integrity, exactly, that's the right word, of wanting to keep their integrity. Those are the people that they are always looking for to engage in business. So if you are also trying to do any form of business, you must also ensure that you have integrity. And that integrity must be seen in you. Because people just look at you and they give, maybe based on the conversation they must have had with you, based on one or two questions they must have asked somebody about you. So they want to know if you really have that integrity before they can do business with you.
All right, my viewers, if you have been following us right from the onset of this, program, Youth Perspective, firstly, at some point we've talked about integrity, and we've talked about how you can be able to go into, and today we're talking about business. So you see that, we're just following it step by step, and now integrity is actually coming in again. Yeah. We're going to take a very short break right now. Then when we come back, we'll dig deeper into this discussion. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is still Youth Perspective on Independent Television. And I still remain your host, Joy Obaisiagbon. And I am with Ambassador Terry, talking about, youth in business, having to achieve success and navigating, the challenges in business. So let's move forward, actually. Talking about mentorship. You talked about networking. I don't think in any business that, any young adult would want to go into, they wouldn't want to need a mentor in it, right? Yeah. Yeah. So talking about mentorship, how do you think young adults can actually, leverage mentorship in achieving success in business generally?
Okay. I think mentorship is one way to grow in business, because you must learn from someone before you can grow in that business. And it also requires a lot of, being dedicated, all right? Because people like to take those who are dedicated before they can say, okay, this person, let me show them this way. So first of all, you have to be very serious with yourself, and then you have to be loyal. If you're working with somebody, you have to be loyal so that the person can actually use his whole complete mind to say, okay, let me, tutor you very well. So mentorship is very, very important. All right. Personally, I actually went through mentorship in car business. In fact, before I got to this stage, I have tried some certain things before I actually, came into car business. Okay. So that means that you have to keep trying, till you are able to get what you feel you want to do. And you got to keep meeting the right people and making them understand that you are ready to learn. You are ready to, follow their footsteps and let them mentor you. All right. So when you keep bringing out this form of attitude, people will take you so seriously. All right. So for me, my car business, I am 100% open. By the grace of God, I've been able to, mentor so many youths, in the past few years, let me say the past 10 years, I've been able to mentor some youths. And by the grace of God, one of the first youth I mentored in car business is overseas now. and he's doing very well. And there's no time that he comes to this country that he doesn't, reach out to me. When he's even there, he calls me. And I have so many of them still here in this country that I've been able to also mentor, and they're all doing well.
Yeah, you see, the way you talk about this, your car business, you're making it, look as though, I feel like I should, come into it and,
Well,
of course, it's very lucrative, right?
Yeah. Car business is a lucrative business. Another thing is, in car business, even if you don't have money, you can actually be there and you'll be making money. Remember I told you that at a point I started getting people giving me cars, because I was already learning the business, and before they were giving me cars. As a matter of fact, I started getting people giving me cars before I was able to even raise money to buy my car.
But let's be very realistic right now. If I'm to come into the car business, right?
Yeah.
Talking about the agency part of it, can we actually balance that part? Like, because when you talk about the real estate, people will be like, oh, 10%, 5%, 15%, 20%. I even heard right now that some persons are collecting 15%, right? So how does it really work in, your line of business?
Okay, fine. Ours is not percentage. It's called commission.
Oh.
All right. But there's a particular slang that we call it in our business. It's called do my share. All right. It's like saying you are able to do the business, so you have to share. All right. Now, in our business, you get commission based on any car you are able to help sell. All right, and there's no particular amount to the kind of commission that you might get.
Yeah, sorry to cut you short very quickly. Talking about these finances in business, how do you think we can actually manage, having to, take care of responsibilities and knowing when to take risks in business, generally speaking?
Well, taking risk in business is something that one must always do, because if you don't take risk, at times you may not grow.
Exactly.
But again, before you take the risk, be sure that you have been mentored. Be sure that you've known, the business. Be sure that you understand the business that you want to go to. Be sure that yes, you like the kind of business that you want to go into. That's what matters, because getting capital to do a business is one of the biggest problem anyone can face. It's always not easy to get capital to start a business. That is why I said earlier that you must have to start very small. All right. In my kind of business right now, as it is right now, you can be there and helping to market my business. And when I sell, I send you a commission, and that commission is from 100,000 and above. All right. It depends. If it is between a car of like maybe 2-3 million, be sure that you can get like 100,000. If it is between a car of 5 million, be sure that you can get like 200,000. So it depends. If it's a car of like maybe 10 million, be sure that you can get like 500,000. I don't know if you get my point.
No, yeah.
So, but it also depends on how you are able to, because another thing is when you bring somebody to come and buy a car from me, that person is your own sure connection, right? So you also have to some extent, some influence in that person. So you are to do your own part to ensure that the person eventually buy from me. Because I'm not the only marketer out there. There are so many other marketers. All right. So other persons who are also selling are also trying to sell. So you who is bringing that person to me should be able to also do your best to ensure that the person eventually buys from me. All right. So by the time the person eventually buys from me, you are sure of your percentage. All right. So that is the way it's done. Whether you say it or not, as long as you're able to bring a buyer to me, before you leave, I'll tell you, send me your account number. Since you bring that buyer, and I'll send you money, because I understand that you have just done your job, because it's not easy to get somebody to buy your product. All right. So for you to bring that person to me, you will be well appreciated.
All right. As we've heard from Ambassador Terry, he's actually an ambassador, so he's open to teaching you how to go into car business if you're willing to, help you and mentor you go through it. So very quickly before we go, we cannot totally rule out, the set of people that are actually in business right now. A lot of them, their business have gone down, looking at Nigeria economy.
Yeah.
So lastly, before we go, your final words, can you actually, help us, talk to us, how do you think, people like that can actually come out from that and bounce back into business and, see that it goes well?
Okay. You see, the situation in Nigeria right now economically is telling on everybody. No business that is not feeling it right now. Even in car business, I remember some years ago, you know, some certain amount of money can get you like up to like 10 cars. Some years ago, with 20 million, I can get 10 cars. I don't know if you get my point. But that 20 million today can just get you 2 cars, let me say 3 cars maximum. Depending on the kind of car that you want to buy. And, you know, Nigerians love sophisticated, you know, things. And the kind of cars that are actually, you know, sellable in the market, that are of high demand right now in the market, are the kind of cars that you want to get. All right. And if you fail to go and get the kind of car that is, you know, that is not in the market, then you'll be rest assured that you're going to lose. You're going to lose, because at the end of the day, the car will remain there, and perhaps you have to go and sell it below the price. Okay. So I will advise people now, you just have to keep on doing your best. You know, you don't have to stop, because I know some persons who, because of the dollar increments and so many other things that have allowed for the car business to be very high, they actually step up the business. All right. And some persons like myself kept on pushing, even though I know that the money I used to have that I can use to buy like 5-10 cars, I cannot buy that car again. But I don't have to just completely go out of business. I have to keep on, you know, doing the business and hoping for the best, hoping that yes, tomorrow I'm able to get a better capital to invest more in my business. So you just have to keep going on. And for the youths out there, let me say this, those youth in Edo State, I am very, very open. If you feel that you want to learn car business, you are sure that you are ready to learn car business, be it a male or a female. I have tutored both male and female in this business before. So if you feel you want to learn it, be free to reach out to me. By the grace of God, I have my own company where I sell my cars. I will put you through.
All right, thank you very much. That's a wonderful one right there. As you've heard from my guest today, keep on pushing. Don't stop. You know, it's not all rosy out there. We understand all businesses face challenges, right? So, you know, thank you so much for joining us today. Until we meet again next week, I'm Joy Obaisiagmo. Bye for now.
Omonoba Nedu Ukwakolopolo, Ewai II, Oba of Benin, stepped out majestically with loud crowd to perform the Soto rites of his late mother, Queen Mother Ioba Omoni Ikoyeme, Ioba Ewai II, who departed this world 49 years ago. Isoton is a traditional rite of the procession in memory of the departed person's spirit in Benin Kingdom. It is usually heralded by public display of the departed person influence during their sojourn on earth. The display of a human effigy symbolizing the departed royal matriarch was preceded by the Oba of Benin, who led the procession from his palace to the Immortal Shrine at King Square in Benin City, where he offered prayers for the repose of the soul of the Queen Mother, Ioba Ewai II. Thereafter, the priest assigned to the Immortal Shrine offered Oba Ewai II items for Isoton on behalf of his family. However, Chok, known as Uri, represented a mixed cheer from royal fans after ancestral spirits were invoked to bear witness and announce his arrival. On his way home, Oba Ewai paid tributes at various pilgrimage sites, including Queen Idia Tomb, the side Oba Market, where a cheerful crowd of traders abandoned their wares to catch a glimpse of the royal personage and join in the celebration.
ITV, certainly the best.
Oda, wa bota now. Ugi bota we se ni wa. Ka bo pon wa ya fe ni dahima. We ugi ori bota na. Ore yi ma so nyele. We eme so ni mata. Oka bodo fi sevense. Ma we akun o sa lo bo aye dagbema. Edi ma we ni hunu wa ni wa we eme mata awe mwese katikati no dekan imuno 12 sabo amolo ari ma ya fe bota de na ni wa o dekan ugie na ya do pona katikati no ka bo wa kan gwa ma te eyupo ro edo ya fe no bado no gwa egwayo ori ma ro temege pastor Calvary hunamure
iye do no woman wa bidata wa be ne ge kai ofun egbo sa oba gwo yaro oba atokpe
ise me sa obo se je no yero no ri edo ba yo ka edo ya fe we ge tu wa ya o ọba atọpẹ ise eni ma agwa ka ni wa o ugie o upona be na ya do he nda e wa ma oladiane o keke na wita ni wa meke na we na ya mu gbe e igwe eno wo igwe vedo wa igwe ha igwe okay ege nedo ya ipon sarudazi ya ipon wenika ya ipon oba ya no ya fere ya pon me emi ya fere no wi morion ya soto emi ya fere na ru we ware ukiwe va na yin ma mu poyi un be so owo no kwa eno na ya gwaka igwewo okay hunda we emina inyo salobo ae igwe aya roe igwe ya temata igwe aya ninye ma enika hunda unyame we pome eno ono igwe agbela jan zebe bena ni rie mena eri ma mo bo le le tai ìpẹ́jù ìwé náà wọ́ ọ̀nàrà ògì rọba uwẹ́gbà àyànà dùẹ̀ àwíkàmì èyí àwàrà rẹ̀bà ọmọlọ́ba ọwọ́ àyàngí ni ṣùgbọ́n àmà yà fẹ́ màníkàmì kì má yà fẹ́ tàbí gbé ìdú ẹ̀ ògì ni èyí rẹ̀ náà ìpẹ́jù kẹsù gì wọ́ ẹ̀dẹ́kẹ́nu ìrọ̀pá ẹ̀rọ ẹ̀rẹ́dẹ̀rẹ̀ ìpàdé nẹ́rọ ugie òtú ìgbọ́ba òtú ìgbọ́ba náà ní wọ́n abẹ́ ọmọwé ládíá abẹ́ kàwé yáfẹ́ abẹ́ yàtọ̀ ayàpọ̀n ìníkà òtú ìgbọ́ba ọ̀ìsùn ẹ̀bẹ̀ oge ha ìpàdé àárọ̀ ugie ìrìnrọ̀pá ẹ̀rọ ẹ̀rẹ́dẹ̀rẹ̀ ìpàdé ìbárọ̀ ugie ìgbọ́ba uga anya na due ìpàdé ní ọ̀pára ugie wọ́ ìrọ̀pá ìrọ̀ dẹ̀yọ̀ ìpàdé ugie mobo awé kàmẹ̀ ya fẹ́ ya ìmùgbẹ́ dẹ̀yọ̀ na ẹ̀dẹ̀ àgọ̀ mọ́nà bá dùẹ̀ ugie ẹ̀dẹ̀rọ̀ bọ́ wótà awé ìyọba ya fẹ́ ya gbọ́ àtẹ̀nà ya fẹ́ ràdánà ní wọn ọtẹmẹ dọmọ ìyẹn wẹ ọwọn ọsà ló bọ a ògì ọrí mi kpona wọn yà kàn dó ẹ ẹgbẹ̀yọta nínú ẹ wàá yà dó ẹ nga ekpọ́n ẹ̀ nọ́kọ́ a ẹ̀yẹ nọ èmi kpọ́ ọgbà náà.
ẹ̀dọ́nọ́pẹ̀ wà bẹ́ẹ̀ nìkẹ́ ká yìí ẹ̀mí gùẹ̀ ke ugie na do púpọ̀ a orie mama ni bun no ami o ma ko wa neme mama no kan amukporie ukporie nu kpowere edo me bi ni awo gin ya ọmọ no ba na do ko apolopolo yo ire do ya na mi ewu yo ka sun o ebe nu ya nana ba be ne gwa ya mama eri o be ro na igwedo ya eri o be re na ebu kebo wa mi ba na ebu soro te do na de ne do ya gwe ya gwe ya bi me de ni ya wa be wo gin ya ozi ana mi we ede ipede vanya nyaogie obena gbe ye beni we igwedo ya fe eni sokpa ugie na eri so si mo gin ya eri o we mo gin ya ge monle o fo mo na sokpa no sokpa ge edo egene do ya ugeva oro we derio egena yak momi ige ohun sukpo na ya gogo ni gbo e gogo no egerun no ara pome ne awurgbebe lerun we osanowo duwa no so wa sede na no la ipede no ikerupo na aberi eyobo no wa nwuni na efu eri awurgbebe na we no kan ukpo be na ka be la so o form ukpo na be na ugugie no we ne do ya wo gin ya di mama no ro no kan na do pon wa we ni bo wulo ni bo re wisi ni egbe so na be ni bo abe biele o do gba ori eke yara me no ro no tori enwon o rege o dekun nu gbeje ohun kenu ya omi no salongo dua ona gba ori we o mana o sun pa be mana o wa yo ni ukmo mo salongo dua we me ro be de na unda mama na ya puedo rade omo no ba ko apolopolo no no ya sun mama na ko we oke ke na ri ege yo to pupo ari na ya lerun na ya pon me ne do tie igwe emi dun ne do ya we mama na oge ukpo ki asoto na be ni kataba be ne do me ma eri mo le mama eri owi ya yi mama da do deno ami porie no tukotu ne ebokebo ne iyayi kiyayi na ne ugie no kan me pon me be no kan me ru eri o re doje no kan me gwe oba atope
ise wese anyone why we no yaka ege a pastor obi edo mama wu amupo yoto no dokpa orwe zebi no type ma dáadé wo ya fere wo tagun ya fere iya mo
egbenu we ta we ni ya festival
èmi na ge wo tagun ya fe ika na bo okiwe va wo po aya mo yoto wo za na ro yi we unhu soy zebi no type ma okiwe va ni awe ya mama muda edon me uwu kan no ladin èmi ya fere na ri epon no saloboa wa ya ri epon no saloboa be ni kawe bosa wa adako de kwere alule kia bosa ya defie gota ya defie o we ave wo wa we uge gbe we ri uge ege we to bu we no da o na o ria ohun mi ofewo we to bu we ohun mi ofewo usalogba USA omo negbe matera na mo ajo sitoro eyaro to fe o na ku salogba eso le ro ewae na ugbo na gbe we se ti gbowo ya bo so ma se ti gbowo emi awon siera adewno iki won ye wesupo ya ye kini wa ami yo pa otagbon ya na mama oyin mo pa lare supa o me da do ewo ge be matabana be ni dade no mo no ba yan na agwe abe kabe abe eba eri o be no ise lo gbe o gbe mawe diaru se lo gbe ewo o gbe ma we di aro se lo gbe ewo o gbe ma we di aro se lo gbe ewo se no gbe ewo se no gbe ewo se no gbe ma di arupo na di ma we di aro Ilio ga yen wa ya fe idami mana ima mi hu ta mana ta na nia a mi ga ya mo gbe bo no ma te mo gbe we mi aye mi po wi bo sun wi imi e na mi da ni o sa lo bo mama eni ka o mama o ta gbo ya mama we gere na aru ipo a we niru nu won ma so we no ma ka bie yi udo bie dukiru na bie yi Upona no, oho no ga July, oho no ga March, oho no ga January, upona no, umyomo bie, uriomo we. We me allow da we to buwe, we me allow da. De we be oye. Ubebe, urie, umi uladian wo, work ni ezebo yo, work about passy. As I say, ogo no, oye upona. E dan ni ru. Iwa ladian o sense. Ima fe ma la odeke e ya fe aro wupo bo ko da ni we mi ni we ra se ti mu la dia de no mana we de fiofo no bi ara rupo na wa gba ni o ke wo lo anu ni o ezo na yero da ya ne ru nupo na upo no de ma so po na upo no de ma ya se o no gbo ni wa Ọlọ́run ni ma mi upono ya fona na ye mi upono de ayi no salobwa ayi mi nika de na mi upo yi oteme paso iwo nu yo we babo ke egun na mi upo eten wa mi we ipon me na bi gue na do de ba upo akin asupo agba ori yeke na ya hen we igbina woko lọ́lọ́rọ̀ wa ya nuwe lágbèrè be dame when I said him so udori ekmo me no sa uri ekmo me ne gbo enuri onwe we no nya ma ekmo mo uwe ekmo mo salo ba ju nwe we e dame uje o so wa e na we mie e ma no si awe de yo to wa wu enyen we on e no sunu e wo we no sunu we na mo ga e bo e no ke na ekmo sa ba no then we tie ban no ga re bi no wa Adam kekebe Eve odowa me ya Evanos aboya smagmo iya kero bi o me vanara ati Cain kekebe Abel ukpogiri yo to be na don ado na di emire to ya mome be ya mome uya we baba we se ume ye se pona okpa bona la ogbugbo no pa na da osunwa da do na di emi no mere ni ado akpome so pon kiyan ne no dion no eke o ma igwa lo doge ni se when na baba habania we biagi mi ebe ni gangbe na ya be me da we mi po o we so go down we kin da aro ke kan we me ni we po mo salo bayo ni gioni su wo ken ama mu ekpize yo wa salebe da ebe no wa ka we o be mana aro wi o aro wi o ma se aro wa ni mi ya na fon da e ma so ga me gbe edozua ye danyozo Munda igoni ro so po we na mo oege we te doge ba woni se ni se egoni me po na la imani lu egbera ma mi na ye no sakwa ye ga lu ogozo e be no kan ka wo ke kina ro wi o unda egu eni oyi o o ma ogu e so ma bugbo be oyi o ma mi na ye fun we do a lo me na elede lele ke no zunu yi elede ro emeso amego iye moko no si semede ora o se siga no packet no si semede o danyori agbo a on nebi gbo wa yo bi gbe ke no na danu de we efe so o zo no ogesi ono ze ne ebi no wana ka o ke na ro wi o uda o ma no to tan o enegbe ona o no lagbera ona o ekeni ekede ori epon wo vigwe yo to o mira o ma do bo mi e agboro e na soro mi awa so asokito ero paro baba imaye me nwa senda ade asokito ya tu ma igi se ba nwete bo pe ana eti na aro emiki na aro alimo na aro apo na aro e bread na aro o ma mi nu yae ona ka da me we wi mo na wa gwe wo wa ni iwa lo lewa o mie o ma mi nu yae we no mi nu yae ni egbera won
emi we akpọ me yi no emi oso wonye me no ebe soro ono wa me go na we waso we me so anyo emi ate table na vi anyo na te ba anyo wa gbare wa we age we igwe mi anyo pera me o ma mi nu ya die onyo ze we unwe ga supo ka po mo salo bo ayunwe igwe mi 2025 ube mi 2026 ebe soro no ma se ba odeke kawe aye ko ni ere ba ni ola ya yo wori ni re e ba ni ola ya yo ni chani re e ba ni ola e fi ba no well we na mi hu ori wo ma re o ma mi hu o ma mi enso eni ya we akpo me o ugie ne dori oyo to nu ya akpo me ye gbo e nu ya akpo me dagbe mo e mo gbanu e nu ya akpo me ye kinudo nu ya akpo mo ye eni sikewe e ugie kin o be re so si be dio e so sun alerun owe pe do pa nya ogie ma wa ya lerun na e so we pe de iwe ne ma ya na e so we pe de yan ma ya na ba kana aya e po wo so baba wo ese o me so o me ya na mi mama wo po no de e mu gie kin o be do ro ene ni gu ene dori e to no ri je me se bogi gu eni bi de ile ki o mi ya ino o lubirie e de ina ye kere ni ino e kan ya mo to ele na ye kere ni na do aga be run ne do na bi ari obiri mo bo obu afi o Holy Ghost fire ni mati na oba babe lubiri asan oso lubiri osiekwere won lubiri ogbobi ere lubiri ye do ge na wa man luga na o ma dan o resource na Holy Ghost fire asemo so mo idu akpo me Holy Ghost fire na wo pa mayata anere ni dori mo bo but mana resource mama ro ere o uni mama yata wa je we wa mi ile oredo ona ga egi no ge osaloba aluga mo boro
wesi anyway we so ten
do mo wa to pe
ya iwa da e no ta ga to e pastor imi marugedo osaloba ma ya ga osase mi ya fe osase osa mudiano ma are mewu my so ma vie digun yoto biona yoto oteto salogba ni ya fe yemeje ebi na we ben ugie ni ma gwaka bania when edigoba ne do ya na we gue ededo we no ye no sun yi ba pastor ugie we ari ewe ke mo wuga o we no yo ewe oda fun ewe unyan ewe no yo eyin no wa no ka emi yi polo no mie be wo ho be mi no ro ton aro wo te do ri oba mana otion e no pa we wa fi okun o na bi ma me no we ya ho ekian ana sin po e lo su no ni wa ekeni ya le yi abi yoko ihu ese we ya mari bere ya ma ekino le yi ya to bi ana e ko ro te na le mo ma ladia asena ma ma hu ese abo wa la baba ye gogogi o na pe ni ye ti apagbo ya ge e ma ya ebe na ro ege o ri gba oko to o wa wa e ko mo ko ro to ya ona wu ya na ye na we gbo aro mo ko ro to o ipe ni eze ke na pagbo na pa ọlọ́pàá náà ní ebe ni ọ̀nà ebe náà ṣe é ọ̀bọ mara yẹn ebe náà ewé àti ẹ̀ ọ̀nà kọ̀lọ́ ọ̀nà yẹ tọ̀gbà yìí hùn ọ̀rí ni ọba nẹ ọ̀hìn àgọ́ ọ̀hún wẹ̀ nà rẹ̀ ọ̀nà wẹ̀ ni akọ̀lẹ̀ ebe ni rẹ̀ ọ̀nà wẹ̀ ebe náà ni wọ́n ewé náà ọ̀ọ́zẹ́ ọ̀bọ yìí àmà gbà yẹn náà yà yẹ èrè ènìyàn kí màwé wọn rẹ̀ mi na sọ̀rọ̀ no amina enyo sọ̀rọ̀ no aru nu ya yere no sunu ave ya yere se no so ma ave ya yere fena idu ave egwe ni gegwe ni ona we so pa ai garu hu upo agba ari ebe egwe ni ma ye ikulule hia o egwe no sunu yiba obirie egwe no ma we no obi ogeka no egwe orie ubi na ti obi noro ari ese ready ona omahu no ready ona awi no makeke ya fe ai na mi na we na ri epa ona ubiri na ku bura obi ogie kan ogie kai ori ona we wala ku ni salo bwa me ohu owi en eri ejomo no ba ahuela dia ona wi ari obi ona de ge ona atomi ewe ana ri ge ana ho ge wa ewe na de na ho ewe ahia ugie no hwa e ga no ari ewe ejomo wu ga o ewe go yo ona ewe ri be segwa ona we o ma ge be pe o ma esu popa ma esu ki ha o we ri obo kagba bo kana wo ri beru na we ri abu he wa go de ona we wo ki yo mi me ana no ona we won tie wa din o to we he obi ye ni esi mi ba tie ona wo oyoyo o mo na wo ma egbe no ka e ka na ona na ri oyoyo re ai we ri e da na be asi wa ari egbe ge mo wu ga o ewe go oyoyo ewe da fe ewe unye o ewe go oyoyo ona we ae ebi no keke ehi ana furi kore oye usue aye no hwa emi pokin ni dadoma emi pokin ni me okinu we no da o mena bia mie bia kian se hebo do no ga me mie ni zero re na yi de me ni hu mi ina fe hu na ise de na pon sa lo gba na pon ni ka no ama we gbegbe gbona ama wo na isale benu so pa nu pon sa lo bo ye dagbon won nu pon ye ne ohe nu mie nu pon ye odekun nu mie una ye mi hu nu pon ye do ma mi odekun wa mi ropa emi nu mie no so yan won ke mo kame koten korun ki wo ni rewe bo ke ni ro wa ke ya fe emi ya fe nu odinode nu sa lo bo ye ya bowewo wo mi na ana we yin osanu dazi yin ni ka yin boya fe na ga emi ni ya we ko ya bo me o manu we mo we emi po na ame ya bo amezo yuto ma we yin ri ma omo no gba na do ko apolopolo emi no ri aye osaba imaniru no fure ga re bo na e wa no wa go egba o gebo ni aha mo hin no hu ai de no wo hin daro ni nika o fi o hin wo ri ni etowo no pewo awe ka ya fe ma we gotu wa ya fe ugi o mi pona ri na o wu pona 2025 imagine ni ma me ti o la 2026 be no we de be gbera mi
opa so when awe
o ten ire kere ba ege se ni
edun no pewo wege ha we eroto erohun owe okapa ni o wege ne de owo pe opa we te ni ye dagbon ye na ya gbegbe won ito no kere pe ona ya de moi wu de ona we o ma no wa ke na ye ti wa wu so na mi no magun yen kwa kan dori e to ko ona de moi ni ona mu oriri no ya ari koro ori moi ori mo boy e kan so pa yegi sunwera odiri yo ni e ti wa ri koro ona bole moi ona ri unu ye ti wa lo bo ma be na wa lu le gege na wa ri be moi ona wa la lo fia na we bona ki ona we la re wa na le be moi we me o re ne bu sen ade mami rai o pe na wa lu le wa to re nwera yi ona we condition here ni ze boyo obe ma so na yi bi na gbegbe e bana ona wa ran ri mu nwera ona we bo ba to re ona wo tere gari wa agbon ga mama where any ma do na lu o ma do na e ka wo u me mi no arun da igogo u me no arun da ewe mi po u me no ugwe me go ma be igogo wa ri da ku gbe na nwanyo ku gbe o pa to pe
ise anyway ya iwa da ima e ma na mu gi oge emi po na ayo to ni wa maka bo pon wa ya fe di da ima pa ke ma ye ni ru adigu eni ru awe ya fe mana owe go ba we duge osaloba no gi ma eseti gwe emi ya fe ke ni ro wa ke rigwe we ni awo kagele awo kara we dion wala ho wa go ba dole wo nai wa ge ria wa me ki to han ane ga gwaligo wa me ki to po be gba ni ba ya du po na he po de wa be du he wa ga zi esi no ba vi wayi na ya dole wo yi awo kagele eri o no ona ojo we so egbe ade lórí ọdún we gwa be na riru ena ya fe ave nigi ni vero ya fe ave niru uni to sa mi ma ya fe yibo na fi wori no ma no la otedo ya fe me manam gibota de na yota oba to pe ise
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about.
what I said. So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise, or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something. You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them over, dragging on both sides, you cannot. You cannot breathe. And these women would stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
ITV, certainly the best.
Christmas and a prosperous New Year from Independent Television and Radio.
It's sure always an exciting time to have you join us on the program Heritage with your sincerely Oluije Oikokai. Today on Heritage, we're going to a country that has about 2 million population, and that is Guinea-Bissau. To go see what they have for us today as far as culture and tradition is concerned. So you know what? Come along as we take a trip together to Guinea-Bissau to go see what they have for us on Heritage. Don't go nowhere. The festival in Guinea-Bissau is the popular annual festival in the country, known for its vibrant blend of traditional African culture and influence.
Máscaras. Depois de rainha, não fica cuidando de fula. Na pede mais palmo, volta com palmo, coloca no encoraja. Salva de palma, na apresentação, não fica cuidando de fula. Ndeke bola de mangas de arte, na dança de fula. Now, fula, mensagem que o livro pega a nós tudo guineense.
The event takes place annually in the capital city of Guinea-Bissau during the dry season, typically in the month of February or March, just before Lent. The carnival is a powerful display of national identity and unity, bringing together the nation, many diverse ethnic groups, including the Balanta, Fula, Mangoko, and Bajago people, to celebrate their unique costumes and traditions. events feature parades along in the major streets, as well as people are seen dancing, drum beat renting the air, and thousands of participants in elaborate, well-dressed and colorful costumes to mark the celebration. The celebration is a fest combining a cheerful African spirit with lively influences of Portuguese and Brazilian cultural traditions.
Albano.
Não falar obrigado. Tem que não ter primeiro grupo que não apresentar, não está falando. Que me se mostrando? Netinia Pepe, ele está falando com o ora como aqui, na carroça parceiro Régolo. Usada diferente manobra. Se cabeça era diferente de Ambacus. Olha, ele quer mostrar. O homem tem parceiro Régolo. Segundo não tem. Sumei quer mostrar parceiro Régolo. Então, eu consegui vencer. Não tem simplesmente. Parceiro Régolo, como é que conseguia vencer? Não está manifesta aqui a alegria. Régolo pobre, que desachola, que cerimônia. Então está mostrando biombo. Régolo de biombo. E morre. Vem torturar a partir da região de biombo. E por bater só na região de biombo, mas a nível de Guiné-Bissau. Cansaré. Popolo, obrigado, Cansaré. Obrigado para representante do desfile nacional de Guiné-Bissau e para tudo que está presente. Gosto não vai ter balobeiros. Balobeiros. Essa é uma cerimônia. Lê. E por ser filho Régolo, ou filho de alguém como sobrinho, está proibido. Terceiro Régolo, ou balobeiro, pecar musa. Que é balobeiro? Ele é como transferir magaro. Mas por descobrir, ele apontei Irã. Irã não respondeu. Não fala barogueiros, obrigado. Balobeiros, obrigado. Você não tem aqui grandes guintes. Então usa só coisas pretas. É guintes que está rolando em Irã. E que eles que estão decidindo. Mas e coisas que também tradicionalmente Irã está chamando. Olha que ele chamou. Que Irã está matando aquele mar, é tudo. Se aquele alguém que vive no Irã, nessa casa. Então a manga de bufonessas que está contra aquele. Então, ele está recolher aqui balobeiro para apontar. Então, não é coisa na condição na casa. O que não passa? Então, o comandante Roneira. Yes, quem tem que roneira. Eles se futuro balobeiros. Babia, lá que até conseguir poder de ser o balobeiros. Babirando está trabalhando nesse momento. Nós já tem que ir na roneira. E babirando chamar não. E aí, o que ela passa?
Osaida, diga para o monolo. Osaida, confia mandalo. Osaida, diga para o monolo. Osaida. Não, dá logo.
Vamos falar obrigado. Obrigado para Ronaldo Zidane. Você não tem aqui momento de não lembrar. Não lhe lembrei o que passou. O povo vida de filhos, de irmãos, de família risco. Irmãos, se não lembrar. MC Caio e cantar. Eles que estão puro para não comer. Eles que vão aí na BC. Labradores. Para não comer na tabanca. Para não farta. Para não por ter alegria. Força para fazer qualquer coisa. E é seguinte que vão olhar assim. Labradores. Ana labra. Para poder parar. Para não poder comer. Não me estou pedindo. O governo de Guiné-Bissau para apoiar a região de Piombo, Leão do Norte, na laboro, para não poder comer. Depois não tem pescadores também, que não mames. Obrigado. Pescadores também, eles não mames. Eis que está puro para não comer. Babia, que máfia que está a apanhar? Ou que pis que está a apanhar melhor? E ele que está puro não comer. Então, não tem pescadores. Não há pescadores. Depois vim ali na praça de Sal. Não pedi, Ministério de Pesca. Tem apoio à região de Piombo, Leão do Norte, na pesca. Mas não tem bom pires, para não poder comer. Obrigado, pescadores. Você não vai para diferente dança para ver Piombo. E Leão está comendo todo tipo de carne. Não tem o primeiro. Camarão, não é camarão na metade. Piombo, é que está preguiça de nada. Camarão, ai, esse camarão que está na metade. Muito obrigado, camarão. Muito obrigado, camarão. Não tem mandigas. Olha, a nós de Piombo, Leão, não tem mandigas. Mandiga não vem. Na Piombo, não tem mandiga. Leão. Eles gostam de atividade. Leão gosta de subir. E gosta de ter conhecimento. Leão de Piombo. Ou Leão do Norte. Melhor assim. Leão do Norte. Quando ninguém tem que se dar na turbina para ouvir voz ou pode a voz. Muito bem, Leão do Norte. Obrigado, Mandigas, obrigado. Tem Leão do Norte, não tem obrigado, Mandinga. Muito obrigado, 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 obrigado. Muito obrigado, você não vai ter. Fula. Fula, muito obrigado, Fula. Fula, você não vai ter. Mandinga, obrigado, Fula. Fula na biomba. Fula. Sai. Fula, 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 Fula. É tudo na região de Biombo. Quando eu falo Lyon, não eu falo ser o Lyon. Longe pessoal, habilidade de Lyon. Habilidade de Lyon. Habilidade de Lyon. Habilidade. Muito obrigado. Muito obrigado. Conselho no último tropas que lutam para a independência de Guiné-Bissau. Tropas que lutam para a independência de Guiné-Bissau. Caos não ser povo independente. Tropas que lutam para a independência. Presidente, patrocinadores, presidente, muito obrigado. Dona Garcia também, tamborista. Homem conduto, caça presente.
Palmas fortes para a região de Biombo. Gomes. Não para beber como a... Você quer que nota, Cícero? Naquela região, sim. Biombo e Benfica, tudo. Biombo e Benfica. Mas não tem bunda, não crianças. Que flor de luta. Está na mostra? Se dança. Jambadon de Mandinga, Mamesi Fanado. Jambadon de Mandinga.
It certainly has been an exciting time today on Heritage. Yes, you learned a lot as far as Guinea-Bissau is concerned. Their heritage, their costume. Now looking at, of course, the way they merge culture together, it certainly has been mind-blowing. So we'll be seeing again next week for another exciting time. To have yourself a blessed day. Bye for now.
Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year from Independent Television and Radio.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about
what I said. So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi
Yeah,
and something.
party.
Stay in those events for hours just to keep up